I tell you, Brexit is being cursed to high heaven by anybody trying to buy or sell a used car in the country, every single dealership in the country, and the government as well, because to date they've lost about 60 million in revenue because of the dip in new car sales. We're down over 10% year to date. Used car values have dropped as well because everybody has been going and getting their Brexit bargain over in the UK and in the north of Ireland and bringing it in, because sterling being such a poor performer has meant that there's still fantastic value in buying used and bringing it in. And this has had an effect. So the gap then between a used car and a new car has gotten even bigger. So dealerships are saying, well, hang on, we're not getting the footfall, and that's purely because there's taxation being levied on new cars. Cars are having to go up in price because of the new emissions legislation and regulations. So certain car models are being dropped, certain engines are being dropped, leaving us with cleaner and greener machines, but they're costing that bit more, and the government isn't doing anything to sort of level the playing pitch, and Irish motorists are being penalised.
Okay. And this will go on until such stage as we know what's happening.
Well, until Brexit means Brexit, God, I tell you, until we have some definitive things, it'll continue like this. The trouble is, though, the industry. I was chatting down. I had a chat with Stephen Armstrong, who's the head of Ford in Europe, and they've even had to reposition components, take components from Europe into Britain. They've been positioning engines out of Britain into Europe so that they're on the right side of the line should Brexit happen. It's costing them hundreds of millions, and every motor manufacturer in the UK is on their knees saying this madness has to stop, and nobody in Parliament is listening to them.
And sorry, yesterday, the new car thing is interesting on two levels, probably, is that people feel they can get, with the sterling the way it is, they can get much better value, cheaper is it, in buying second-hand. And even if you were to go new, the second-hand value of your car may not be as much as you'd want if you had these cheaper ones coming in competition with it.
As is always the case, whenever you go to trade in your car, unless you've done a PCP deal, you're taking a gamble on what you think your car is worth and the reality of what it is worth. So the car, when a dealership has to take in a car as a trade-in, it's the only place where it can really actually make money on the deal, because new car margins are so tight they only make 1% or 2% on the sale of a new car. So they'll try and make up the difference on what they can take your car in that you're trading in and what they can sell it on for. But because there's more and more used cars on the market, it's depressing prices.
Interesting question from a listener. I'm buying a UK car next week, but I can't book a VRT until 3 weeks' time. If Brexit happens, will I be charged an additional post-Brexit tax of 10 or 20%? I don't know.
I don't know. I think it's once it's in the country, because in theory you're meant to present within, is it 3 or 5 working days? It's something fairly tight to the VRT centre. But if they can't take the booking, I think once you've proof that it's in the country, it's on the island of Ireland at that time, you should be fine if that's within before Brexit happens.
It's interesting though that of the new car sales that are going on, the trend is moving towards electric and electric hybrids, isn't it?
Yeah, if you look at the percentage increase, it's massive. We've already sold more electric cars in the first 3 months of the year than we did in the entire 2018. The numbers are still tiny, but everybody is heading that direction. I was over in Amsterdam on Tuesday at a Ford Go Electric event, chatting with their boffins. They're releasing a whole rake of new machines, 18, I think, in the next number of years. There'll be 9 delivered by the end of this year.
And are they all going to be hybrids?
Electrified. So we've got hybrids, which is an engine and an electric battery. We've got plug-in hybrids, which allows you to top up your battery pack by plugging in. We have battery electric vehicles as well. So we've got a number of variety of platforms that are coming, and all the manufacturers are having to do this far quicker than they thought. Ford in particular, they were happily tipping along saying, no, our diesel and our petrol engines are perfectly fine for Europe. Along comes Dieselgate. Volkswagen bring a huge amount of attention onto the whole motor industry. Then Europe says, okay, let's make all these cars greener. Let's demand tighter emissions. So all of a sudden, everybody's had to accelerate their programs on bringing hybrids to.
Okay, but the charging points remains an issue, and there's been a couple of interesting developments about new private fast charging points opening. One at a hotel in Monaghan.
Yeah, EasyGo opened up a fast charger, a 50 kilowatt charger. That's one of the ones which is, if you equate charging a car to, your 3-pin socket being a garden hose, a fire hose worth of electricity comes out of these chargers. They've opened up a private one. You can log on. You can join them. It's you pay for the electricity you use, and you will be paying at all the e-car electricity stations for fast charges that are run by the ESB.
This is the one that's at the Four Seasons Hotel in Monaghan.
Yeah, so the interesting thing is, first private company to do that. And we've had Tesla put in destination chargers as well. But this is one that punters can go up and use, and you can subscribe, and then you pay per kilowatt. So you'll pay for your electricity. You'll be doing that before the charges actually kick in for on-street charging that's run by the ESB e-car system, which is still free at the moment, but the charges are happening. So it means that if there's private investors ready to do this, it will help build up the infrastructure, which is still woefully inadequate for the potential amount of cars that want to charge.
So ESB, they have e-cars EV charging, is their option?
Yeah, they're all the ones, all the ones we see on the street.
And they're also in certain Circle K fuel stations now.
Yeah, and also I think Maxall today announced that they're going to be putting a number, I think 6 this year into their filling stations. So all filling stations are going to be putting charging points in there because they'll be able to charge for the electricity.
But they're rapid charge. But how rapid is rapid?
Well, bleeding rapid is what you want in a car, and a rapid charge can it's sort of between 20 and 40 minutes. You can get maybe up to 80% of charge into your batteries, depending on the battery capacity of your vehicle. And whether it allows a fast charge. Not all electric cars allow fast charging to take place, but it's one of those things that we're seeing, much like computer chips years ago, we're seeing nearly with every 6 months there's another leap potentially in the ability of batteries to charge, and EVs are coming online. It's a lot slower than people think. We won't have a huge range of them, but a lot of cars will be electrified within the next couple of years, and that's just to meet emissions regulations.
Michael Sheridan, as ever, thank you for joining us. Movie time next. We've Ron McDermott and Deirdre Malone with us after